Daniela Arena. Thank you very much. Obviously, it was worth the wait. Definitely, it was worth the wait. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know that some of us will have one or two questions to ask. Our facilitator is still very much on ground. So please indicate by raising your hand if you have a question. We'll take a few of them before we go to our next program on menu. Please indicate if you have a question. Indicate if you have a question. By raising your hand, indicate if you have a question. By the way, while we are taking the questions, those of you who are building, please make sure you are ready, and please reach out to Faith, because she has to be in your group, either in your group as an admin, and your proof are ready with us. So once all of this are done, tomorrow we'll be pitching, and then by Friday is the final pitching. Are we together on that? No, Friday is the final pitching. No. All right.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Daniela, for the teaching. So I want to ask, for someone that is into marketing, we serve a lot of customers, a lot of businesses, and most times, if you want to take time to explain to them what branding is all about, they don't care, they just want to make sales. So in that case, what is the best way to make them understand the importance of building a brand? Like, it's not just their logo or running ads. How best can I be able to put them through on this? Thank you.
Thank you. I can relate to that because I'm also a social media manager and I get that a lot. So, like I said before, not everybody is not your customer. Not everybody is not your client. When I try to work with those because those kind of people will end up giving you a very difficult time. And if you're in the marketing team, okay, let's say are you a social media manager or you're just a marketer? So as a social media manager, you're not just going to be doing posting and stuff. If they tell you, oh, what I want is sales, it doesn't happen overnight. That's just the truth about marketing. Marketing is built around being patient, it's growth. And sometimes growth will not come immediately. So when a client tells me, I want to make sales, how much am I doing? I don't work with those kind of people. So if you try to explain to them, man, this is not how it works, we have to gradually do this and do that. You have to give them your roots because you're the boss here, you're not doing the work. You give them your roots, you have an onboarding form where you have all your questions written down. That onboarding form will be like an avenue for you to know what their purpose for the brand is. But if they are telling you that they want to just go direct and just start working with you, it's a red flag, and you should not work with that kind of client. So does that answer your question?
Does anybody still have any other question? Okay, in the absence of one, I have a question. So for the benefit of everybody that is here, how do I build, or what you have taught us today, is it just on an individual or a team? If it's a team, how do I build a functional marketing team for startup?
Okay, so if you want to build a functional marketing team, you have to be able to delegate tasks for each team member and make sure, because the thing about people who have brands or companies, they just feel like when they delegate the tasks to different team members, they go to rest. But you're the one who has the vision behind your brand. You're the one who has, you know where you want your brand to be in 5 years' time. So you don't just abandon your work for your team members. You have to be there working with them. You have to see that the person is working. If you employ somebody that, if you have a team member that is just dragging his feet, then you have to leave that person behind, because you will not what's that word? You will not, is it compromise or risk? You will not risk your brand for because you're trying to be nice to somebody. Then your brand is going down. So the importance of having a team is to delegate tasks to each of them. If this one is a graphic designer, you should make sure that he shows up. If this one is responsible for social media management, you should make sure that she's doing her work. Content creation, because one of the things about building a brand and having team members is so that nobody will be overwhelmed their own task. If you're doing it alone, for now I'm doing my brand alone, I know how overwhelming it is. So if you now have the opportunity to have different team members, then they should make sure that they're doing their work. Because if they're not doing their work, it's going to slow down your brand, especially as a startup, which is not what you need at the moment. So I used to hear, I think I heard the CEO, I don't know his name, or he's a foreign man. I watched one of his talk show or TED Talk where he was saying, hire slowly and fire fast. So you hire slowly because you need to know the quality of what you're getting from this person, but you fire fast when you see that the person is not doing his or her job, because it's going to affect your brand. You're going to be going behind when you already have a schedule. So I don't know if this answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much. Yeah. Before we continue to our next program, do you have anybody who has a question? I mean, tech founders, are you not going to build teams around your products? Don't you think that you can actually tap from a word of knowledge this morning? Let's look inward and bring up questions that we think she can answer for us. She's still with us in the house. When the question comes by the time she has left, for you, nobody will be there. Nobody will be there to answer the question again. So, any other question? There's still room for saying one or two questions. Okay. In the absence of none, I have one question, madam. Would you advise me? Okay. We have talked about building a team for your products. And then there's the functionality of the team. Or there's the productivity of the team. And it's a function of a certain ingredients. So how do you categorize a sales team or a marketing team for your products that helps push this product into the market? Yes. That I use the word categorize because I don't want to use the word enumeration. Because when you talk about it is broader than just payments, right? It talks about looking at actually the needs of your employees or your team members, looking at their needs, factoring it into your business function and all of that. That's why
are you talking about raising revenues for the brand itself?
No, I'm talking about the team. Your brand is sorted. Your brand is sorted. Your product is ready. This team is pushing your brand into the market. How then the productivity of this team? What is the best way to categorize this team to ensure maximum productivity that will not affect your ROI, the return on investment, as a startup?
Right. So this is the reason why there's something like meetings. Once in a while, you have to hold meetings, maybe virtually or physically, to be able to interact with your team members. Because your team members are human beings, they have their personal needs, and sometimes their personal needs will affect their productivity outcome as a human being. So you have to, even though you're trying to get your team members to, get to work and stuff like that, you have to, like, okay, I for example, I've worked with a boss that he just wants his work done. He doesn't care if you're well or not. Even if you tell him, oh, I'm like, I was sick today, he doesn't care. And that's one of the things that affected the team, because there were a lot of other people that were complaining about it. They'll be like, I'm telling you that this is how I feel, and you don't even care, you just want to get your work done. So if you have to there has to be like a balance. You have to, apart from discussing work activities with your team members, you have to get to know their personal welfare. Like, ask them, how are you? What do you need to be able to, if you notice that somebody that has been very active is no longer being very active, you know that this person has been diligent, but all of a sudden the person is just slowing down. You don't just fire the person. Like I knew that I said that was a quote that I said fire fast, and that fire fast came from when the person is intentionally being reluctant to do work. You know that this person has the ability to do this, but the person is just being reluctant because it's not his work, it's not his brand. That's a different case. But if you notice that somebody that has been very diligent in your team, or people, a set of people that have been very diligent, suddenly they are no longer being diligent, you have to ask them on personal basis. It's no longer about work anymore, because it takes someone who is healthy and doing very well to be able to do your work. So that's where meetings comes